Welcome to this special Monkey Nut Bunch review of 2022, featuring Keith.
Hi.
Hello, Keith.
Hello. How are we doing?
We're doing okay. It's all fun and games recently, but show must go on.
It always is, buddy. It always is. But Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. And
Yes.
welcome to 2023. Let's hope it was better than the last one.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those things. So what we're going to do is we're going to review all the stuff that happened over the course of last year. So I'm going to start with it wasn't quite last year, but it was the end of last year, and that's Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Was that 2021 or 2022?
That was 2021. That was like Christmassy to 21. But we got around to reviewing it in 22. So let's start off with.
Did.
Yeah.
I've actually seen it a couple of times now, and I still love it. Genuinely enjoyed it. I actually think I like it more than the second Ghostbusters film in many ways, actually. I like the ending is really good. I love what they did with it. And I think it was a very nice tribute to Egon. Genuinely enjoyed the movie.
I can safely say now removed from it, it still holds up. I feel exactly the same way. You know, when you watch a film and you think, oh, this is brilliant. And then you come back to, oh, no, absolute shit. I still feel the same way about this film. I still enjoy it. The emotional beats at the end work. It was a fitting tribute to Harold Ramis, which was cool. And yeah, I think, it was good. It's Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Ooh, you're working on Bladefoot 3. Does this mean I'm going to get a call and ask me to do some proofreading for you? If that's the case, you're welcome. Just drop me a text and I'll help you with that. But that's cool. Ghostbusters. That was good. It was nice. I'm hoping it's one of those ones that stands the test of time. Then we finished off The Expanse.
Yeah.
Again, I think that finished off before Christmas, but we talked about it after Christmas because certain small ginger person who's not with us at the moment couldn't watch the whole thing. So
I think I have gone back and watched it, and I have now done all the novels. So I've done the novels, I've done the fucking novellas, I have done the whole fucking caboodle, right? And I still think season 6 was too short. I think they were done a slight disservice. I think Amazon were all pissed off about what happened with Thingy, so they kind of fucked them over a bit. Now there is a persistent rumor that season 7 has been worked on, and that they've shopped it about. There is a rumor that Apple are picking it up. It would not surprise me. What I hadn't realized until today was that Netflix is about to get a bloody huge sci-fi thing, which could be big. The novels are actually more ambitious than bloody Foundation, so it's going to be interesting. The problem is, right?
What's that?
3-Body Space by a Chinese.
Oh, 3-Body Problem. It's an animation.
Yeah. No, it's not.
And it's
live action.
Live action. Sure? Because it's an animation.
Yeah, I watched the Netflix trailer. It's got Samwise Gamgee, but guess who's doing it?
Who?
Guess who's who's like the showrunners?
Oh, it's the guys from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's Dan and Dave. Now, they are very good at adapting pre-existing text. There is no denying that, right? And there are 3 pre-existing novels, so this could be good, right? They have text to work from. There's no fucking book, book missing kind of thing because fat bastards can't get off their ass and fucking write their books. 9 years and counting. It could be good, but The Expanse, I think it finished too quickly.
Are you sure it's not animated? Because I've got news here, and it says the first animated adaptation of the award-winning sci-fi trilogy 3-Body Problem.
I watched the trailer today. I can give you the trailer. The trouble is, it's on bibibibi.com. But there is a
Sorry?
Netflix. It's got loads of people from Game of Thrones in it. But there is a live action version. I will show you the 3-body problem. Here you go. So it is. Where was it?
I'd just like to point out the 3-body problem is a story of existential dread. Yeah, it comes up with the idea of the dark forest, which is a thing. So it's like kind of, it answers the question, if all the civilizations are out there, why they're all being quiet? Because there's a dark forest and you don't know who the hunters are.
Well, isn't it the story of the beginning, the start of making contact with an extraterrestrial thing right up to the end of the universe, basically?
No.
Ah, okay.
No. It's what the story goes as follows. Earth makes contact with a race of people called the Trisolarians, and they it starts off, they're sending signals out into space, and the Trisolarians pick up on the signal and they get a signal back, and the signal says, do not respond to this, because if you respond to this, your civilization will be destroyed. Anyway, some divvy bitch, and it is divvy bitch, responds to them, and then the Trisolarians then pack up all their stuff and start heading towards Earth because they want to take over it, because they have a star system that has 3 stars in it. That's where the 3-body problem comes from. And because it has 3 things, the gravity and everything is all fucked up. Yeah. So they start building this thing, and it's like in 400 years' time, they will arrive in our solar system and destroy us. Yeah. I told you, existential dread. But hang on a second, it gets worse, yeah, because the existential dread is that the humans figure out the theory of the dark forest, that if you poke your head above the parapet as a species, you will be destroyed. And the human race, they try to build up all these things. What the Trisolarians do, they send these things called sophons to Earth, and these are tiny supercomputers etched onto a photon. Yeah, and these things can fuck with physics. So when you're doing your like big large hadron collider, it will give you the wrong data, so they can push you in a way that will allow you to beat them. There's a point where it looks like we're going to beat them, and they send this one little tiny teardrop ship about 2 meters long, and it's like super dense, and they can't get through it and whatever. And all the teardrop ship does is just rams all the spaceships and stuff that we beat and destroys our entire fleet in the space of a couple of hours.
Have you read this? Have you read them?
Or... I started to, but it's really fucking depressing.
Ah, okay. I sent you the trailer, but in the private chat. But it's on Bibi. But it exists. It's Dan and Dave, but working from a pre-existing text, so it could be good. But Expanse, they seem to be working on something, and it is Expanse related. That much, you know. There is persistent rumors that they're working on something. They left season 6 open, you know, to do the last 3 books. So the rumor is that Apple TV might pick it up. Is the latest one that I've seen.
Right, now you know the story and how it ends, because your big thing was Marco Inaros didn't get it as bad as he should have.
I think in the book it makes it more graphic. It's not graphic enough, I think, in the TV series. The problem was, my problem with it, and my problem still is, it's a pacing thing. It's not that he didn't get it, it's a pacing thing. They went from, I've got an idea, to him dead, and there should have been a build up to it. There should have been this gradual.
Right, so
it's a pacing problem.
Right. I think one of the problems is where Cav, what's his name? Who's the guy who played Alex? Kaz Anvar.
Yeah.
Where he got fired. The guy who plays what's his name? Holden had to reshoot all those bits because the what do you call it? The reporter, I can't remember her name now. the reporters there to go to him and saying, it's great that these ring gates are all open, but ships are disappearing as they're going through. So they're entering transit and not coming out the other side. And that was supposed to be the setup for that. But they had to cut that out because they had to reshoot the whole thing and get it working. And that's why they had I don't know why they didn't keep the character who played Bull on as the pilot, just to try and, put these things through. But
the novel doesn't really imply Holden goes off into like the sort of proto-molecule thing that I didn't like. I love the very final prologue bit of the novel, or epilogue of the novel, should I say. I like the epilogue of the novel, the last novel. I don't like the ending of the novel. I kind of get what you meant when you told me about it. I think the middle one of those three novels is the best. The middle three of the last trilogy of novels, if you like. I kind of like Amos coming back as a proto-molecule zombie and being exactly the fucking same. I love it. I love it.
There's two bits I like in that is when you've got Winston Duarte's daughter, and they're telling her that Amos is a bad guy, and then she was like, "You came in, you started shooting. He threw himself on me to protect me. He's not the bad guy." And she figures it out, and the way that it's done, it's like kind of she knows he's not the bad guy because he saved her life. And the other one was with the Takara, or whatever her name is. The what do they call them now? What's the name of the group that the Martians that disappeared off? What do they call them? One that Winston's in charge of? Laconians.
Yeah, Laconians.
Laconians, thank you. The Laconians, where Takara's got their new beefed up power armor stuff, and they've cornered Holden and that lot. And then Alex turns up with Ross and Nancy and fucking destroys them with PDCs because she thinks she's going to fucking win, and it's just no, it doesn't fucking happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's things. So yeah, so we've got a hello from Nigel. Hello. And we got yes, he says Marco needed to get it. He did get it. In the book, he gets ripped apart.
Oh, in the book,
the
book has this nice build up. They're throughout the book, she's slowly figuring it out, and then there's this amazing build up in the book to when Marco gets it. There is tension there. There is tension. Will it work? Won't it work? There wasn't enough tension in the TV series. She had the idea and it was there, right? In the book, there is this lovely build up to that scene. She has the idea, and there is a few chapters of tension. Is it going to work? And they build that tension. And then the book really nicely describes as he is ripped apart, and the last thought through his head. That was satisfying. And I think the TV series would have done a much better job had it been 10 episodes. That season was rushed, and it was a shame. Because there was a lot going on in that final book. But I did like the fact that they dramatized the novella of the two kids. That was on Laconia.
Yeah,
that was
confused a lot of people who watched it who didn't know nothing about the book.
It's done because they've done it as a kind of entrance into season 7. But it's whether we get it or not.
Yeah. All right. So next one was Microsoft putting their tender through to buy Activision, which I don't think has happened yet. No. I don't think it's completed. It's in the works. It's halfway through, but it's not completed. So it was an odd one. I think it was, how much was it? It was some ridiculous sum of money, which was not, I have to remember now because I've got the notes, but I haven't got the values. But when they bought Activision, it was like, you look at Activision, I think we looked at it and compared to when they bought, what's the other company called? Bethesda, Cinemax, yeah. that group, yeah. And it was, the value in comparison, it was $69 billion. I should have remembered that. $69 billion for that, and it wasn't as worth as much as Bethesda. I think Bethesda was a better buy, and I still think they paid too much for Bethesda too. And it's Yeah, it's still going on. There are European things about about monopolies and all these other things going through at the moment, and there's how long we get Call of Duty for and all this stuff at the moment, and I'm like, dude, I don't think it was worth it. And then after that, we had the whole stuff that happened behind the scenes at Activision. Do you remember that with all the
yeah
the 1980s cocaine culture, I will call it.
Yeah, but I mean yes, I remember it, and I remember the stories around it, but I've always been critical of Activision games predominantly. Look, Microsoft will probably end up buying them, but it will be interesting why it's taking so long. But then look, at the moment, times are hard, so that might be also slowing up. That people are not buying as many games, and yet you still can't get a PS5 for love nor money in this country. I know. Well, I've found a company. You can buy them if you pay scalping prices. I'm not prepared to do that up until the last minute in March. If I have not secured one by March, I will reluctantly part with my money because I want to play Survivor as soon to the release as possible, so it doesn't get spoiled for me. Because fucking loved Fallen Order. I love the story. In fact, it's probably my favorite Star Wars thing, with the exception of Andor, since Disney took over. The story's so damn good.
Okay, so here's the next one. Do you remember the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, it was shit. With the exception of one episode. Well, no. It was it was completely and utterly dumb in the fact that it was called the Book of Boba Fett, but it was kind of Mandalorian 2.5, or it turned into Mandalorian 2.5.
I thought it turned into the Fennec show.
And then you had this build up with Luke Skywalker. You put fucking Luke Skywalker in it. You build up this whole thing with bloody with Baby Yoda, and then you have that really sort of shit last episode. And who thinks that fucking Boba Fett riding a Ragnarok, what's his face, a Rancor was cool? Yeah, for about 5 seconds, but it doesn't replace.
Do you know Luke what they should have done? What they should have done is they should have had Luke Skywalker come down. Yeah, and it's like kind of at the end. So you've beaten all the bad guys. You think it's over. Big thing of sand comes up. It goes down. There's Luke Skywalker. Boba Fett knows this guy quite well. Fuck. Yeah. And then he should have turned around, looked at him, looked at he'd managed to get all these people to fight the bad guys and realize he's the good guy. That would have worked. But no, they can't do that because that means empowering a white male, which we can't do in Hollywood anymore. But they've got the conclusion that they think that life is a slide and everyone gets to take the turn rather than it just happens.
It was a massive misstep, and it's a rare one in Filoni's, but it was a misstep. And look, he made up for it with the Jedi tales, which I thought were excellent, but it wasn't great. And no, I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it was a letdown. It was kind of like, I was kind of going along with it, and I thought the first couple of episodes, they were okay. They weren't anything like, they were spectacularly average, as you call it. And those first few episodes were spectacularly average. But then Boba Fett didn't really get to do anything. He didn't get to fight. He didn't get to be awesome. And it's like, well, why did you bring him back if that's all you're going to do? I mean, he was awesome in The Mandalorian. That episode he is in The Mandalorian, he absolutely kicks ass and he's fucking awesome. He was dangerous. There was a danger there, right? Yeah. And there was none of that in his own series. There was absolutely none of that. It was shit. And it was let down by the promise of something else cool, even though it was nothing to do with Boba Fett, was a massive letdown there. You know, we got to see the Mandalorian building his ship. Okay, we got to see a BD-1 droid. That was kind of cool. There were little Easter eggs in there that were cool, but
Yes. No. I. This is the thing. Is that I just. It was that bit last year where you're talking about Star Wars, and then I realized I actually don't care, and it's weird. And I think this is one of those nails in the coffin, because
I
the opposite of
understand.
love isn't hate; it's apathy.
I
Yeah.
understand why you are you love it. I do or you've lost faith in it. I completely get it. I still hold memories of Star Wars that are close to me, so I still, for some reason, fucking care about it, and I don't know why I care, because these people don't care about me. These people that are making it generally don't care about anybody, but I keep holding out hope that they're going to get their asses handed to them. And then you see something like Andor and you think, well, okay, there is a glimmer of hope. And whoever was behind the fucking game Fallen Order genuinely loves Star Wars, genuinely created the best fucking thing since Lucas. And that's why I'm almost willing to go against every grain in my body in playing scalping prices if I can't get a PS5 in time, because I'm playing that fucking game, guys. I'm playing that game.
Yeah. Right. Overall, Boba Fett was. I wouldn't say it's spectacularly average. I'd say it's less than average.
No, I said the first few episodes were
yeah.
but then I now say it was shit.
It did have a good episode of The Mandalorian stuffed into it towards the end. Yes. But it had some really stupid bits in it. Hi, here's a child who's probably kind of an 8-month-old. Have a lightsaber or some chainmail. And it's like, no, you don't know. No, you're a false user. You should know already. You want to go back to him. Let's take you back to him. Okay? But it's important that you and I stay in contact in case something goes down. That's what it should have been like. But as I said, Star Wars last year, I did care about it up until I think we had that conversation. When I checked myself and I was like, I don't. Biff has brought up the Gina Carano debacle, and they said people stopped caring about that. No, it was Last Jedi. It was Last Jedi that they stopped caring about it. Gina Carano was just one more fucking nail in that coffin that stopped people caring about it. It was just a big one.
People keep trying to get me to watch Knives Out, saying it's a great movie. I won't do it. I will not support that wanker arsehole. I will not do it. I don't care how good a movie it is. I will not watch anything he ever made. He is a horrible human being who is arrogant and selfish. And he can fuck right off, Rian Johnson.
I'd just like to point out, I've watched it and I watched Glass Onion. I watched Glass Onion over Christmas. And Glass Onion makes no fucking sense. Yeah. There's a bit at the end where they're like, oh, no, he's burnt all the evidence. And they're all claiming they didn't see all the evidence, to which the detective goes, I can't do anything. And it's like, dude, he attempted to murder her and you witnessed it. That counts for something, you dumbass. And you've got physical evidence that he tried it. And there's no... that was one of many things. He can't write. He cannot write. But, yeah. Don't watch Glass Onion. Don't watch Glass Onion if you have critical faculties.
I don't intend to watch anything he ever makes. He has angered me that much.
It was the other thing was Looper. You watched Looper?
Nope.
Right. This is before him, right? Nigel. I'm sorry, Nigel. I know you like Looper. I thought Looper was the dumbest fucking thing ever. Right. So what we're going to do, it's going to create a time machine. Just going to send people back in time so we can kill them without them doing. How about you just burn the body? It's a lot easier to create by furnace than it is to burn the body. Oh, it's monitored by a system. Why don't you hack the system? Because mastering time travel, a bit on the difficult side, I'll be honest with you. Fucking hell. Dumbest fucking film ever. That was the whole premise was built on that. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I when I found I was going to watch it at one point, then I found out it was Rian Johnson, and I went, nope, just nope.
But yeah,
I know this. I don't often dig my heels in to this extent. I've even renewed my bloody Amazon Prime thing, which hurt, but I did it. But I will never watch anything Rian Johnson makes. Never.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next one, which was We saw it. There was Jurassic World, Jurassic World Dominion trailer. Bloody hell. We watched. So let's talk about Jurassic. Let's talk about the Jurassic World Dominion, and how we felt.
It was okay. It was like meh. I mean, it had a couple of things in it that I thought were quite clever. Lewis Dodgson coming back, who was a bit character, but it was quite clever.
That didn't make any fucking sense in my head. It was like kind of, look, remember the cleaner in Terminator 1 who knocked on his door and he tells him to fuck off? They're back in Terminator 5.
If you just watch the movie, I think it was more of an Easter egg for people that are geeks like me that remember the characters. And he was a bit more of a character in the novel than he was in the film. But I thought it was clever. It didn't offend me. I thought it could have been much better than it was. There were some ideas there that just didn't play out the way they could have. I think we could have done without the whole Dinosaur Island thing, going back to the sort of dinosaur sanctuary thing. And then it just became run of the mill. The dinosaurs escape, they have to stop them, blah, blah, blah. There were moments in it, but look, Jurassic Park, one of my favorite movies. Somehow they managed to make Jurassic World a good movie, but that, the next one was crap, and I didn't see them really improving this. So,
it was okay. I found it quite inoffensive in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, it wasn't bad.
I know.
Look, I'm not saying it was truly bad. I really didn't like the middle movie. I liked this a lot more.
Yeah, I'll say that too. I didn't like the
and if you watch the reinstated prologue to it, it's actually quite, there's moments of really good filmmaking. I love the prologue and I love the ending to the film. The bits, the sort of arty sort of National Geographic bits, they're quite good. There is an extended version which is much better than the cinematic version. It wasn't a bad film. It was better than Jurassic Park 3. And it was considerably better than the middle Jurassic World one.
I have a soft spot for Jurassic Park 3. And the reason I have a soft spot for Jurassic Park 3 is because it included all the shit that wasn't in the first Jurassic Park. And that's why I like it. I didn't like the Spinosaurus because anyone knows that Tyrannosaurus Rexes used to gang up on them.
I have to admit, Santa for Christmas bought me the Lego Jurassic Park diorama, the T-Rex breakout. It's fucking awesome. I mean, it wasn't like a particularly long kit to make, but it's one of my favorites. And it's sitting on the pride and place on my desk over here because you've got the T-Rex standing on the car. And there's Alan Grant waving.
Right.
I love it.
Right. So hang on a second. Right. That's a famous movie gaff, don't you?
What?
The T-Rex standing where it is in that shot.
I've heard something about this. Go on.
Right. You know what? Right. So just fast forward in your brain. So you used to have the thing, it attacks. The kids kind of like escape, yeah, and it runs off. Okay. So when they're next with the car gets knocked over the side of that concrete thing, yeah? There's about 100 foot where there's nothing. That dinosaur's technically flying. You never knew that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It doesn't make any fucking sense, does it?
I know, but it doesn't matter. It's an iconic movie.
It is. It just.
I love the Lego kit that I got for that. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, I love the first. Look, it wasn't particularly bad. I didn't think it was. I wouldn't say spectacularly average. It was middle ground. Middle ground.
So next was a series that I really enjoyed. That was Jack Reacher on Amazon.
I loved that. That was good. That's really one of my highlights of the year.
That guy was fucking huge.
That actually has got to be probably the best thing I've seen on Amazon actually this year.
Yeah. I know people like the Terminal List. I enjoyed Reacher more than the Terminal List. It felt more. Even though it was darker, it felt more enjoyable overall. The problem with the terminal list is I watched the bit, and especially the bit where he's holding the pan when he comes back because he's just zoned out, and you looked at him and he went, he's fucked. That poor fuck guy is absolutely fucked. Where Reacher, I don't feel the same. I do think in comparison to the character in the books, that Reacher's a bit more good looking in comparison to the one in the books is supposed to be fuck ugly. Yeah. You won't mess with him because he looks like if you messed his face up, he wouldn't care.
It's closer to the books, though, this Reacher. And
no, it is. It's just the character doesn't quite look the way it does. I know because Lee Charles, his name's not Lee Charles. I can't remember what his name is. It's not Lee Charles, but he's in the final scene. He walks past him in the calf and says, "Excuse me." And apparently, when it was all over, he hugged all the cast and crew, crying, saying, "You've done what I've always wanted. This is the character the way I want it." And that's fantastic. And that was
looking
really
forward,
good.
genuinely looking forward to season 2 of that. Genuinely looking forward to season 2 of it. I know that Nigel enjoyed Reacher. Well, we all did. No, Reacher was one of the highlights of the year for me.
Yeah. It's one of the things where I was turning around going, actually, TV this year's not been that bad. Did you watch the Uncharted movie?
Yes. I enjoyed it more than you guys did. But I kind of liked Tom Holland, and I haven't played the games like you guys are. So I think I understand why you guys were let down by it.
I was okay on it, but it's easy. It's Indiana Jones in modern day. That's it. That's the pitch. You walk into Sony, you say Indiana Jones modern day, bit of climbing, bit of shooting, set in these locations, nice and easy. They had to change that all around. Mark Wahlberg's character wasn't like Sully. I'll be honest with you, it's one of the films that in that year that I stepped away from, and I was okay with it when I watched it. And then months down the line, I look back at it and go, "No shit." If it was on TV, would I watch it? No.
I can get it. There are things that I enjoyed more because I'm not a fan of the original material, so I kind of enjoyed it more. I know there's fans yelling at the screen at me for that comment because I know the next one's going to be Halo. But
no, the next one's not Halo. The next one on my list isn't Halo, but we'll get there in a moment.
I know we're going to get to Halo. But I didn't think it was about it. Look, again, I was going, oh, it's an amazing movie. It was a movie. It entertained me for 2 hours. I've forgotten about it. That's what I mean.
So here's the next one. Star Trek Picard. Season 2.
The first episode was really good. The rest of it was shit.
I couldn't bring myself to finish that.
I mean, it was shit. I mean, it was shockingly bad.
It's so incompetent. The storytelling when it was so incompetent.
I'm going to watch season 3. I'm going to watch season 3 because I have a feeling I know what they're going to do. There are YouTubers I like and respect that have really hated seasons 1 and 2 of Picard, but say, look, there are some things here that make us cautiously optimistic for season 3. I have actually kind of enjoyed the Star Trek Prodigy cartoon. I think it is actually a worthy successor to Voyager. Now, I know there's a lot of fans out there didn't like Voyager. I kind of liked Voyager, and this has filled a nice gap in some ways.
After this, we'll have your head checked and get you an IQ test to make sure you haven't become retarded.
Oh, no. Look, I found it entertaining. It's generally the best thing that they've done in Trek. I mean, genuinely, it is the best thing they've done Trek-wise. I mean, because it feels like Star Trek. The ships are recognizable. You've got the fucking Defiant. You've got the Enterprise E in it. It's set 5 years after, only a few years. So it genuinely, they haven't fucked with things. They haven't created weird-looking Klingons or fucking Ferengis that look like they're fucking melting, and stuff like that. It works. Now, again, I think Picard season 3 we're going to get DS9 characters. I think we may get Ben Sisko, but I know we're getting Kira. So we will definitely get Janeway. There's no doubt about it. We're going to get Janeway. So, that could be interesting. I don't know. But Picard season 2 was utterly shit. First episode was good. The rest of it was shockingly bad. And the problem is with season 3 is they're bringing back Raffi again. And Raffi is one of the most fucking awful characters they're in. And they're still insisting on making 7-9 a lesbian out of the middle of nowhere. And that for me doesn't hold out that much hope. But look, Q's death as a standalone scene, right? As a standalone scene, forgetting everything else, Q's final scene with Picard was quite good. Forget everything else. That you just look at that scene. As a Star Trek fan, that was quite nice. But the rest, it doesn't make up for the shockingly bad writing, cheap-ass storytelling. But the thing is, I think they had the budget and they saved it all for season 3. That's what's implied. That's why season 2 was so cheap. Apart from the first episode where they spent all of season 2's money on that first episode.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to go to what people have described as the best superhero film, but I think is the worst superhero, one of the worst in that series, and that's The Batman. Dum, 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 dum. And that's really good music, apparently. Just that repeated over and over again. Now, it did one thing. It set the atmosphere. Okay, it got Gotham correct. Gotham was correct in that. Okay, Batman wasn't. And I know he wasn't. I did this with my brother, where I showed him the car chase where he's chasing down the Penguin in that versus the car chase where he's chasing down Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. So in The Batman, he racks up 10, 20 bodies in that thing, where the other one, no bodies.
It was weird. The Batman film, the problem with the Batman film was Batman. Everything else, and it's not really the actor's fault. I think it was just bad writing. I actually think he was done a disservice. The problem with the film was Batman. You're right. They nailed Gotham. I thought what's his face as the Penguin was quite good.
He did. He was the standout in that.
He was genuinely quite good. I think Selena, what's her face, Selena Kyle wasn't as bad as a lot of people said.
Oh no, the speech at the top of the what do you call it? The speech at the top of that scaffold at that building site where she's like, "Kind of male privilege," and it's like, "Fuck off."
No, that got to me, but it was poorly casted. Yeah, it wasn't. What's his face as the thingy was good. It wasn't my version. Right,
so hang on a second.
Riddler.
If you're going to say the Commissioner Gordon person, he was shit. He had nothing to do. He just stood there.
Yeah. No, he wasn't good. The trouble is, I like the actor, but no, I wasn't.
I like the actor too. I like the actor.
That's the thing. But I liked what's his face as Alfred. Quite liked him as Alfred.
Yeah, Andy Serkis as Alfred worked.
Yeah.
Apart from getting blown up.
I know.
It's like, and then you got Bruce Wayne acting like a snotty shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. The movie didn't work for me. It didn't work.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you this, and you're going to have to truthfully answer me. Do you remember the Adam Project on Netflix with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes.
Oh, good, because I do too. It felt like a TV movie.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It wasn't bad. There were moments in it that I quite liked. But it was definitely a cheap movie, but it wasn't bad. No, I watched it.
It was a TV movie. It would have been a direct-to-video rental thing when you were a kid.
Yeah.
But
it was entertaining. It was entertaining. It was entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt a momentary need for television to watch. Okay, so there's 3 here. I'm going to bring up the first 2 because the third one's the controversial one. So, Halo. You made me watch the first episode of Halo. And it was garbage.
We're gonna. I found Halo more entertaining than other people. I went in it with no expectations. And
again, we need to check him for a head injury and if he's an IQ test to see if he's retarded, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do that after the show.
Well, maybe it was just a phase I was going through. I don't know. I haven't rewatched it, so but I watched the whole season. I found the blonde woman really, really irritating, actually, to the point where I actually thought she needed to die because she was such a vile human being, and yet they were trying to make her out to be the problem with it is again, this is Hollywood writers, that if you happen to have a vagina between your legs, you can be the most monstrous person in the world. You can be the female fucking version of Hitler and still be somehow redeemable. And that's what's in their head. You know, it's like fucking Scarlet fucking Witch. She kills all those people, makes all those people serious, but we don't know what she's been through. You know, and therefore we don't understand. I mean, you literally you could make Hitler female, and these people in Hollywood would forgive her. So it's insane, and there is definitely that element in there.
I just want to point out the following: in Halo, they've never removed Master Chief's helmet. You never know what he looks like. The reason you don't know what he looks like, so you can pretty much implant your face on him if you want. Yeah. He carries your face if you feel like it, or the face of someone that you respect on it. So in this show, we went from Master Chief not taking his helmet off to him taking his helmet off to him not putting his helmet on back again, and then him being butt naked.
Look, I get it. If you know anything about the games, I get why people found this egregious. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's amazing and you're all wrong. I'm not saying that.
Again,
I understand why people were angry.
The IQ and the X-ray. Okay. So Moon Knight, which I think started off promisingly. So we had Moon Knight.
It's certainly one of the better Marvel things that they've done.
It had potential. That's the thing. I think really it had lots of more squandered potential than the norm.
It was only 6 episodes. They left the third persona as a bit part at the end, and then said, "Oh, we're not making another season because we only contracted him for 1 season." What the fuck? You leave that right till the end. You don't do a reveal. The reveal is the fucking cutscene at the end, and then we're going, "Oh, it all makes sense." Well, people who know the fucking comics knew what was going on throughout the whole thing because it was fucking obvious, right? And they didn't include that, and that was mental. There was so much potential with it. And you know, don't get me wrong, Oscar Isaacs was brilliant in the role. He was genuinely good, right? People criticized his English accent, but it was there for a reason. It was meant to be bad. It was a persona. It was genuinely meant to be bad, and I liked that. I liked that made sense. I am annoyed that they cast somebody that they then didn't contract for at least another season to, you know, come back that scene. What ruined it for me is knowing that it's only 1 season. I think we would view it differently if we had another season. But the fact that it's only had 1 season kind of ruins it for me. But there was potential there. There was potential there. It is the best acted TV series that Marvel has done.
It's annoying because it could have worked, but I don't think Disney are capable anymore of doing this anymore. I think they've lost the ability to make good TVs and good movies. I think they are so entrenched in their stupid beliefs that they will ruin everything, and it will just cause them to lose more and more money. And it's the worst year they've had since 74 or 75, I've heard. So yeah, that's well earned because you don't care for your audience. Your audience are the people who give you your money. All right. Do you remember the slap heard across the world when Will Smith slapped, I was going to say Tucker Carlson. It's I can't remember his name now.
There are very few people that I would say are vile human beings. Will Smith is married to one of them. She is a vile, horrible, selfish, self-obsessed, disgusting human being. And I very rarely use that language.
Don't hold back, Keith. Whatever you do, don't hold back. Be honest.
No, I'm not. I really do. There are a few people that I genuinely dislike, like really dislike that actually make me. And Jada Pickett Smith is one of them, and there are people trying to come to the defend her and comparing her to Meghan Markle and all this. Look, fuck off. I'm sorry, Jada Pickett Smith.
No, she deserves to be called. Meghan Markle's a good example. It's a good example.
I don't dislike Meghan Markle like I dislike Jada Pickett Smith.
I just really wish you'd shut the fuck up and realize you married into the royal family. And it's family plus job in one.
Yeah, it's different with Meghan Markle. But I genuinely, it's not just her. She's not the evil fucking witch. Harry has always wanted to get out of the royal family. It's been obvious from the offset. So look, and you know, she's not fucking pulling the shirt string. She's not some kind of fucking evil witch. But Jada Pickett Smith is. I'm sorry, but she is. And I don't usually blame the woman, but in this, I do. You know, Will Smith has a persona, has a career. Everything about Will Smith is based on image, and I kind of understand that. When this silly bitch comes out and says, "Oh, you know, I had what was it, an entanglement?" You went and fucked your son's best friend. You fucked your son's best friend, and then admitted it on your podcast just so you could get more people to view you. Fuck off, you fucking whorebag. Sorry, I really don't like Jada Pickett Smith. Really, and I'm not going to hold back. Don't even get me started on her. She's a terrible actress. She could not act her way out of anything. She's a vile human being. And I don't think Will Smith acted well, but I can kind of understand if I was married to that, I might slap someone.
So this was something you made me watch one episode of this, and I didn't say anything I've seen of it. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
There were some genuinely good episodes in this. The episode, the kind of submarine style episode, was really fucking good, right? But again, it suffered from the same bullshit. They had a really good captain, Anson Mount. Yeah. The thing with Anson Mount is he was great. He was the only good thing in Discovery season 2, and he was good coming into this. You actually had number one, which you just didn't use at all until right at the end, and then you gave us that thing. You keep interjecting your stupid politics into this, and you don't need to. You know, the sort of like lesbian woman. She was quite an interesting character. She doesn't need to make these political statements all the time. She was an interesting character, and she'd be far less annoying if she didn't make all these fucking political statements all the time. There were genuinely good episodes. The cast was likable. You killed off the engineer. That was one of the most interesting things. Why did you do that? And just to fucking, you know, uplift the black woman. And again, it was done. You killed off a male character who was an interesting character to somehow, you know, make the woman feel better. And it's terrible, and it was annoying, and it was horrible, and it really fucked me off. But yeah, there was a really good episode when Anson Mount was allowed to be Anson Mount on screen as Captain Pike in that episode of the sort of, you know, when they're sort of kind of playing the submarine game with one of the other ships. That was a genuinely good episode. I mean, it was genuinely good.
Good.
But the rest of it was kind of pants.
All right, how about this one? The Orville.
Fucking awesome.
I love the Orville. I was. Nigel was right. There wasn't as many jokes in. They got a budget for special effects, so they had more special effects in there. But there wasn't a thing for jokes, which only seemed to happen towards the end.
I will not sit here and debate with Nigel why he didn't like it. I get why he didn't like it. It was not what he was expecting, and I respect that. I do. I respect it. I get why he liked the last episode. Curiously, the last episode is not my favorite episode. I get why it was his. Mine was about the fact that we had genuine good sci-fi storytelling, and that's what I enjoyed about it. The mini novella, which was read by what's his face, Bruce which was just fucking that story. Wow, my mind is blown on writing something like that. And look, that story, had it come to film, I would love to see this made into an episode. But that takes anybody that thinks Seth MacFarlane is his vile jokes has got no fucking idea, because it takes a seriously skilled writer to write that. To write that, and on one level have sympathy with a Nazi. It takes a skilled writer to do that, to have that level of complexity. And but I understand, Nigel, why though you preferred the final episode. I respect it. I'm not going to sit here and go, you're all wrong. I won't do that. I really enjoyed season 3. I thought it was some of the best. I fucking hope they get a season 4. They do a season 4, because Seth MacFarlane has proven himself to be a bloody good sci-fi writer. And the people at Paramount, you fucked up. You should have let him make Star Trek. You should have done. And I love the fact that season 3 is a big fuck you to Paramount and Viacom for not letting him, because he just produced way better television than you've done.
Okay, so The Boys, I've gone through I've gone through the first volume of it, and it was annoying because it looked like it was going to have some serious potential in it, and I was really enjoying watching it. And I was really enjoying watching it, and there was a bit where the Homelander Huey, Billy, and their version of Captain America, I can't remember the name of now, teamed up to take down Homelander, and it looked like they were going to beat him, and then they fucked it up in the last episode, because it was no, the girls are going to do it now, and the girls didn't do what we needed them to do either.
That Homelander should be dead, and they're bringing him back again. It's like, it's the same thing they did. Bad guys are great, but they can outlast their welcome. When they don't become a good baddie, they become irritating. I always go back to Morgana in Merlin and the stupid face every fucking week. Soldier Boy, well done, Duncan. Homelander's outlasted his usefulness as an effective bad guy, and now he's irritating. Had they killed him,
the problem is they hamstringed themselves because they removed the black noir part of the story. So what you would have had there is you would have had Homelander being accused of doing really horrible things, and it turns out he's not really doing loads of horrible things, and it's black noir doing it. So things like eating babies and whatnot. But so you can see that he's being pushed over the edge by someone, made to go more and more that way.
It suffered again from this stupid wokeness, and you could see them holding back. We're going to do a giant penis. Look at how daring we are, and then the next minute they're bowing to the stupid fucking diversity train again for the sake of it, and looking how woke we are. Look, no, I'm sorry, but the Boys, after season 1, has never really rekindled it. I thought season 3 did. At the beginning, I was going, God, this is really good. It's been really good. But then towards the end, it just went, oh, for fuck's sake.
And
I was really disappointed by it.
And compared to the comics, because I've got all. If you want, I've got the comics. I can give you them if you want a PDF. Unfortunately,
I've got them.
So if you want to go look through them, you can do that.
It was disappointing. Is the word I would use. It started off really good and it ended in a disappointing way. So fuck it.
All right, Stranger Things season 4.
I liked Stranger Things season 4. It was incredibly long. I didn't like the thing that annoyed me. Right, was that we had this really long season 4, and then they withheld 2 episodes at the end. Why?
They hadn't finished editing the final one until an hour before it went out. You know that, don't you?
Well, I've heard that, but they should have waited. It annoyed me that, because I thought we were getting a lot more, and we just got like an extra couple of hours. I'd waited.
The reason it was there was because they wanted to get 2 months worth of subscriptions out of Netflix users, which makes sense. You're driven by money, for fuck's sake, So
look, it was. Apart from that, season 4, genuinely the best season since season 1. Some really, really good stuff in it. I enjoyed it. There were characters that I really liked in it. I loved the new stoner Indian dude, Pizza Bloke. I fucking loved his character in it. My wife recently watched it, so I was, coming back to it and watching glimpses of it again, and I was like, yeah, I genuinely enjoyed season 4. Looking forward to season 5.
Yeah,
I really like season 4.
Eddie.
And
Everybody loved Eddie.
Poor old Eddie. I loved Eddie too. Oh, Eddie, I weep for you, Eddie. Justice for Eddie. But
Justice for Eddie. Okay, that's didn't look at that way. But yeah, justice for Eddie.
But justice for Eddie and Barbs. Poor old fucking Barbs in season 1. Those two characters, they need justice. Barbs, you didn't get enough screen time, but Eddie, oh poor Eddie. Oh, I loved you, Eddie.
What was it?
You were a good character.
You
made me care about him, you bastards. Go on.
Yeah, you made me care about him. That's what an actor's supposed to. The bit at the end where he's with Dustin and he turns around and goes, "I love you, man," like that. He made that up because he felt that worked for that. And it was, you watched it and it was like, oh, all the people, I don't want you to lose. Eddie's the one that you want to keep. And he had the playing Master of Puppets on the thing. And then you had everybody at the end of that listening to Kate Bush running up that hill.
Oh yeah,
for months on end.
Oh, it's still playing. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. It's stuck in my head. But that's exactly what they wanted to do. So look, good on goal, Kate Bush.
I'm a little pissed that they didn't properly kill Max off at the end. I felt they should have killed her off. That's how it should have gone. They should have.
I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt until season 5 to see what they're going to do there, because I think they've got plans there. I'm looking forward to season 5. I think season 5 is going to be pretty good. So yes, but no, again, another highlight of the year was Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah,
that was one of my highlights.
There's a lot of people talking about that one. All right, so we went from highlight. Oh, no, actually, sorry. Top Gun. We finally got to watch Top Gun. To which my answer is a couple of F-22s would have done that, no issue.
I don't care about the technical things. I don't care about how preposterous it was. I don't care the fact that Tom Cruise should be flat for ejecting, that speed. I know the science in my head says it all. I know he should be very, very dead. Do you know what? I don't give a fuck, because that movie was awesome. I know he should be dead. I get it. There are so many things in that movie that was so stupid, right? But I don't care. It was absurd, and it was absurdly good.
It's the footage. It's the aircraft footage of them in the cockpits and them flying around, and the fact that it wasn't CG for most of it.
It's everything that we have not had for so long. It was unapologetically masculine. It was unapologetically over the top. It knew what it was, and it fucking owned it. Right? There was that. Look, I don't give a shit what you fucking think, Hollywood. Go fuck yourselves. I'm going to be the most male-driven, fucking masculine movie and it was awesome. And my wife loved it. Unsurprisingly, women loved it. Men loved it. That movie it shows how fucking stupid these people are.
We just had a question come through. Should Tom Cruise win Best Actor for Top Gun? The answer is no, because that would detract from how good it was in having Best Actor, because we know that actors, the fucking Hollywood things on bollocks.
I look, awards
needs
are
the budget.
bollocks to me. They've been bollocks for a very long time. It doesn't need accolades. Everybody knows how good that movie is. Everybody knows, whether they're going to admit it or not, how this supposed thing. The people in Hollywood are not going to talk about it, because it's everything they hate. It's unashamedly masculine. It's man shagging birds. It's everything that they fucking despise, and it turns out to be one of the most popular movies of the year. Hollywood hates you, right? It's become more apparent this year than any other year. Hollywood hates you. They hate normal people. right? And they're going to continue to do it. And you know what? I'm laughing. I'm watching the destruction of a company that I once loved, Disney. And it's going to carry on. If you think Bob fucking Iger's coming back to save it,
he's the one who caused most of that. So, okay, Top Gun, agreed, good film. Don't think it's the best film of the year, but definitely good film. All right,
it's the most fun film of the year.
Something I fucking hated. Obi-Wan.
Oh my god.
I like it because it was like it's like bringing up past trauma, isn't it? Do you remember the time that a man touched you in the park when you were 4? That's the equivalent. That's what the Obi-Wan Kenobi
This is
thing
how fucking dumb they are, right? They took a movie script, stretched it out into 6 episodes. They took one of the most loved characters in Star Wars, right? And they still fucked it up. They put Moses Ingram in it, who's just terrible in this movie. Look, she's great in the fucking the Queen's Gambit, but she was not good in this. Her character was dumb. It's not that I despised it or hated it. It was just dumb. It was so dumb. It was so cheap. You have one of the biggest characters and it felt cheap. The thing is, just go and watch Andor. Andor had a budget. This felt like it had no fucking budget whatsoever. They spent all the budget on de-aging Hayden Christian. That's where the budget went. Right? And okay, that was a great scene. That was the one and only scene. Vader, there's a bit where Vader's fighting Obi-Wan again, and even though it shouldn't happen because of Star Wars law and all the dumbness of, well, don't tell anyone that we've met before. Fucking bullshit. Don't tell little girl that we've done things together. That wasn't creepy.
That sounds, yeah.
It was creepy, right? It was just terrible. The only thing that I will say is I loved how the bit they did where Vader gets his ass handed to him with Obi-Wan in that fight, that they switch between Vader's voice and Hayden Christian's voice. That is the only thing that sticks to mind going, oh, that was quite cool. That I liked. But all that was a little member berry. And okay, that was fine. Good member berry. The rest of it, shit. So yeah, shit.
I watched. I think I watched. It was the bit where they did the escape with the spaceship. Do you remember that? The bit with the spaceship. Yes. It's like, oh, there's another spaceship hidden behind there. Exactly. There's what? And then he stabbed Moses Ingram's character, and she didn't die. That killed Qui-Gon Jinn. He stabbed her through the heart. Are you trying to say that she's heartless? Is that what you're trying to say?
And then
that got on my tits.
You had the senior Inquisitor who went from being a very thin person to, what's his face? He's a good actor, but no. They should have CGI'd him. No, it was terrible. It was cheap. It felt cheap. It felt cheap. You do not put fucking Vader and Obi-Wan in the series and make it that cheap and terrible. Yeah. It feels like Disney, it's next Disney Star Wars product, and that's what it felt like. There was no love there. There was no passion for the project that they were working on. That was a cash-in through and through, and that's what it felt like. Whereas Andor, and I know we're going to come back to it, and you look at Andor and you look at Obi-Wan, and it is night and day difference.
Yeah,
in the way they're made. No, Obi-Wan was a pile of fucking steaming dirtbag cash-in shit.
Okay, so Resident Evil. I made you watch the first episode of that, didn't I?
Yeah, and I couldn't. It was no. There.
It was. I have no idea what they were thinking. It was. Everyone complains about the CGI in it. I'll be honest with you, the CGI. I can live with bad CGI. I can't live with bad storytelling. I really can't. You can have shit CGI, and I can look past it if you're telling a good story. But this was just it. All right. I like. What's his name? Who's the guy who played Wesker, the black fella? Oh, he's a really good.
Oh yeah. I've forgotten his name, but I know who you mean. Yeah.
Oh God, he's a great guy. He was in Fringe. That's the first time.
Yes, he was. He was the FBI guy, the FBI boss. Yes, he's good, and I can't remember his name, but yes.
Roderick or something.
Yeah,
Lance Reddick. That's it.
Yeah.
Lance Reddick. I think Lance Reddick's a great actor. They should have just made him a whole new character. Yeah. Should have made him a whole new character. Could have been Birkin. There's a character called William Birkin in the second game. Yeah, he's not massively significant, but he's a scientist. He's quite clever and everything. That and the other. They could have made him William Birkin. Yeah, that I would have been less shocked. But the thing is, they made him Albert Wesker, who was a bad guy, and Albert Wesker's a bit fashy, Nazi-like in comparison to other characters. But it was I'm annoyed because I like the actor. Again, this is one of those things where it's like, I don't know, like you give a guy a job and he does the best he can, but it's all cack. But yeah, that was terrible. Neil Gaiman's. Oh, hang on, did I miss something? Oh, Prey. You watch Prey?
No, because
you didn't watch Prey.
It doesn't. It doesn't interest me.
It wasn't that bad. I remember watching it and thinking back to it. It wasn't that bad. It was. There were a few stupid bits in it, but in the grand scheme of everything, it felt. This is like the stuff that they should produce if you want to produce your kind of diversity stuff. At least tell a decent story. And they told a fairly decent story in there. There were a few.
I think at the time it comes out, I was feeling particularly burned, and I thought, oh God, I know what this is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should go back and watch that. But I think at the time, if I remember rightly, I was feeling particularly burned. I can't remember what made me feel particularly burned at the time, but I was feeling particularly burned at the time.
It was a weak-ass Predator, though. It was a skinny dude. He looked like a Predator hipster that had gone on holiday to Earth.
Was he in skinny jeans?
He could have been he could have put him in skinny jeans. It was. I didn't think it was as terrible. And looking back on it, I don't. Neil Gaiman's The Sandman.
This was actually pretty good in many ways. There were things in it that were bad. There was just the fucking recasting. Look, I don't mind what's her face, but recasting Constantine as a woman, as Joan Constantine, was and there was no reason for it. The actor that played the Sandman was bang on. Actually, I mean, genius casting. I thoroughly enjoyed the episode where he has a bet with death to keep somebody alive and revisits him every 100 years. And the ending to that episode, genuinely a good episode. Really, really enjoyed that episode. The episode in the bar is psychologically brilliant.
I felt it fell apart at the end. I felt that the first 2/3 of it was solid, and that last third of it just kind of fell apart because it was like, oh no, we have this temporal vortex thing, and the temporal vortex thing, and blah blah blah. Oh no, it's not. It's your grandmother because that happened when you fell asleep.
But people argued the same thing about the comic. I mean, it followed the comic pretty closely. There's a lot more to come.
Yeah, but you think you'd repair it ever so slightly and try and get it sorted.
Well, Neil Gaiman, isn't he? He's so far up his own arse these days that he's
the most spoiled writer in history. He is the most spoiled writer. I've never heard of things that he's done that other writers do not get away with. It's mad. Okay, so we got to one, Rings of Power.
It's so bad and dumb and stupid and utterly devoid of any intelligence whatsoever. What everybody look, Bezos should be firing every single person that even touched this, with the exception of the special effects people.
The bit that gets me is this is $1 billion TV series, and it doesn't look like $1 billion TV series.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't even. Didn't feel like $1 billion series for many reasons. The acting was terrible. That battle scene at the end felt enclosed, like nobody was there. Kind of like what we used to criticize Doctor Who for. It was bad. It was laughably bad. Morphine, what's her face? That woman has got a I mean, I thought what's her face Rey in Star Wars had some weird fucking facial expressions. She has got nothing compared to Morphin, whatever her name is, and that actress, that character was so unlikable. It was ridiculous and not Galadriel. And we couldn't give her a husband, even though there are certain things that you just do not fuck with, right? And yet they continue to do this, and then they try and make everybody, it's one like best TV drama of the year award. How much fucking money did Amazon play? I mean, we like to sit here and criticize fucking countries like Thailand for corruption. Believe me, Hollywood is way more corrupt. Saying that this is the best TV drama, it's one of the worst things on TV of last year. My dad keeps going, I want to watch it.
Anything.
I want to watch it. So, Dad, do not watch it. My mother would be fucking twisting in her grave watching this. And Tolkien, Jesus Christ.
I'm tempted to stick copper wires to him. We can use him as dynamo. That gets energy crisis problem solved.
Yeah, and I mean, right at the beginning, I was shitting on this from before it went on because I knew what it was going to be. And I know, Biffa, you were hopeful, and I get it because I'm like that with Star Wars, so I can't diss you for it. I wish you were right and I was wrong, and this had been really, really good. It was not. It was dreadful. It was badly cast. It was badly acted. It was badly done. There was. I've got nothing good to say about it because there was nothing good in it, with the exception of seeing Numenor, the flyover of Numenor. Cool. Everything else bad. I'm addicted to Thailand food cart girls. I know what you're talking about, you dirty man. And you're the hot.
So Nige asked us to watch a TV series called From, where you had a load of people trapped in a town. I don't know if you finished off watching it, but I watched it and I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that, even though it was from the makers of Lost. It was the first time I decided that J.J. Abrams should just do one.
Well, it's looking like increasingly that he has.
I think he's been blacklisted.
Yes,
I think he's been blacklisted. Please be so.
I think it's increasingly looking like that. Certainly at Warner Brothers, anyway. £500 million dollar contract, nothing. So, yeah, no, From was great. From genuinely really good. Looking forward to season 2 of that, which it has.
It was. I'm trying to figure out what those monsters are, and the voice on the radio, and the fact they're not where they think they are, and it's interesting. I think that, as I said, I think it's going to be similar to Under the Dome sort of thing, where they're like trapped in a little habitat of sorts, where they're being toyed with. I think that's the case. So we had Rings of Power, and we also got House of the Dragon.
That was very good. For the most part, there were some really bad episodes actually. But look, Matt Smith stand out in that series, just stand out. Matt Smith taking on the fucking army in I think the 3rd episode. Jesus Christ, that was so good. I think season 2 is going to be really, really good. But there were some terrible episodes. There were some truly amazing episodes. And some truly brilliant acting in it. As a season, it wasn't all good, but by God, did it make Rings of Power look so terribly bad? And it,
considering it cost 1/5 and looked the same.
Well, it wasn't even that. Rings of Power came off the foot of a huge fanship that loved Tolkien, for the most part, loved the Lord of the Rings movies. That Rings of Power had everything to lose, right? They were coming from a popular background where people loved it, right? People loved Tolkien. Most people were severely pissed off at Game of Thrones, right? And yet they somehow did that and made people talk about it again, and not with the same dislike in their voices. I kind of liked House of Dragon, Matt Smith had a lot to do with that, but it was well acted and it was, genuinely quite good. Want to see more of that, please.
All right. Stephen Moffat's Inside Man with Stanley Tucci.
The only thing that was good about that was Stanley Tucci. You and I are not going to agree on this. I know you like Stephen Moffat. I'm really lowly rating him right now.
All I wanted was if his son killed the maths tutor at the end and his son gets sent down for that, that would have been so ironic. I would have loved it. I really would have loved it. I would have just stopped and gone. It looked like he was going to do it too. It really did. It was like, and then no, she's alive. What do you mean she's alive? She's dead.
I know that we're going to disagree on this because I think Stephen Moffat's becoming a bit like Neil Gaiman now. I'm sorry, but I do. I have not liked anything he's done really since Doctor Who, and even then, those last seasons of Doctor Who weren't all great. There were moments that were great.
Go back and watch it and compare it to Doctor Who.
Yeah, I know, but I have done, and even so, it's not his finest work. The speech at the end is great. And I still quote it: "Never eat pears, and always be kind."
Try to be nice, but never fail to be kind.
Yeah, that's a brilliant speech, but I don't rate him. I didn't like Dracula all that much. There were moments in Dracula. I did not like the Time Traveler's Wife. It's got cancelled.
The guy that hired Klaus, what's his mush to be thick?
He was brilliant.
Was fantastic.
But this was just no. And he's begging Benedict Cumberbatch now to come back and do Sherlock, isn't he? They're actively trying to get them to come back and do season 5, but look, season 4 of Sherlock wasn't that good. So
yeah,
I don't know if I want him to come back. I love Sherlock. The first 3 seasons were great. I love Sherlock. Not sure I want to see you do it because I don't think you've got it. I think you've lost it. I think you've become infected by this bullshit. So, I once loved Patrick Stewart. He's become infected. I'm sorry, but I think Mr. Moffat's become infected. I do. I hate to say it. But that thing was terrible. Sorry. It wasn't good. Didn't like it.
Okay. All right. It wasn't as good as the one that we'll talk about in a moment, which is the one that he should have done. She-Hulk finale. Oh my God. Right.
You have to fire him now. What is he thinking? Has he had a fucking anvil dropped on his head?
Right. So I have no idea. No idea what they were thinking with that. I really have.
I know what they were thinking. And they've been showing off about it. They trolled the trolls. We trolled the trolls. We're so good. Look at us. They showed their colors. They hate us
of millions of dollars.
They hate us. They hate normal people, and it is normal people because there is no one I know, and they are normal people. They are people of color, people of different sexes. I have not met a single person that liked this TV series. Not one.
So you've unified us.
Not one. You just hate people. You are. It's not us that are the bad people. It's you. You need to look in the mirror. You vile human beings. You and that silly fucking cow that keeps going off the showrunner. You are a talentless waste of space who spent millions of dollars saying fuck you to people that have called you a talentless waste of space. Well done. You've proven us right.
Yeah.
Well done. What a load of shit.
We made the bad guys the viewing audience, and then we wondered why the viewing audience didn't come back to watch our show.
Why it's not getting another season.
Okay, so I watched Andor, and I thought it was okay. And this is where I was watching it in blocks of 3 because it felt like these were little kind of vignette sort of things, and it was all right. And I remember the way they made the TIE fighters seem dangerous, which was great. The bank heist, which I enjoyed. The thing with Nige, where are you, man? The thing where you're like kind of the bit where they stopped the woman. You said it didn't make any sense. It made perfect sense. It was all built up and everything, and I can point at things. And when I meet you in person, we'll talk about that in person. and it was the least Star Wars thing that they produced. It felt nowhere like this. People have described it as Les Miserables in space.
I've been laughed at on Facebook for saying this. They should not have called it Andor. They should have called it Spark of Rebellion or Spark or something along those lines, because it wasn't just about Andor, and it wasn't like it wasn't like the Mon Mothra show that we hoped it wasn't going to be. It wasn't at all. And actually, it was about the beginning of the rebellion in another form, a different faction of the rebellion. They're called the Rebel Alliance for a reason. You see that in Star Wars Rebels, that there are different factions, and this was just the birth of another faction, and it was genuinely done very well. I really liked it. I thought it was good. I'm looking forward to season 2. My only criticism is it shouldn't have been called Andor, and I think that is one of the reasons why people didn't watch it, and it's a shame, because this is the best live action thing that Disney has done by a fucking long way. I liked Andor. Sorry for the people who didn't, but I enjoyed it, and I like, you said, making those TIE fighters look dangerous as they're flying through the fucking Scottish Highlands. That was kind of fucking cool. That gave me goosebumps, and that fucking battle at the end. Oh damn, God, that was good. God damn it, that was good. No, loved it. Need more of that, please.
All right, so Jodie Whittaker's last appearance as Doctor Who.
Oh God, Christ! I mean,
so I liked seeing the old Doctors.
Yes.
The problem is they really outshone her in like 10, 20 seconds that they were.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Sylvester's speech to Ace, fantastic. Peter Davison's speech, fantastic. They outshone even fucking Colin Baker. My God, Colin Baker. Paul McGann. Oh, Paul. Oh, God, how we were robbed. And it bothers me hugely. The night of the Doctor. It bothers me so much, right? We were robbed. Gareth. We were fucking robbed. I do laugh how the Doctor regenerated on Doodle Door the day before Chuck went there. That was what a coincidence. But in many ways, I thank you for that. The only thing that I liked about it was the regeneration into Tennant. That's the only thing.
It was because I watched that and I went, no, I was waiting for Shooty Gatwa to turn up.
I think you are wrong about Shooty Gatwa. I think Shooty Gatwa actually might be quite good. Look, I think I know where they're going with this, and I might be wrong, but I kind of like Shooty Gatwa. I know he's super camp. But I've enjoyed him in Sex Education. I would like it. It's not true, but
he has a girlfriend.
Well, I don't care. I like him in.
He's only pretending to be gay to get parts.
Okay. I like him. I like him in Sex Education. That one scene. Can everybody please tell me what they're going on here? No, I think he could be good. And I'm gonna say something that's slightly controversial. It is about fucking time we had a black actor as the Doctor. Actually, right? There's been several actors that should have been cast over Jodie Whittaker at the time. So I'm not saying that because of the whole dive, but it is about bloody time.
Always pick quality first. There's an expression. You think it's expensive to hire a professional.
Do you know who could have been a good female Doctor? Right? Do you know who I think
Tilda Swinton.
Actually?
If you say Olivia fucking Watson-Mush, no.
What? You know the black lady that was the baddie in The Peripheral?
She was already the baddie in Doctor Who.
Yeah, I know, but I think she could come back as the Doctor, and I think she might actually do a good job of it. There were moments when she was in The Peripheral going, do you know what? She could be the Doctor. And
Right, the one who plays the 14-year-old in the Umbrella Academy, the only non-English person that I've played the Doctor, the time traveling one.
Yes.
Because he pretends to be old, but he's in a young person's body.
Yes.
All right. So we've got that to look forward to. I hope that's okay. I'll be honest with you. I think the David Tennant bits are going to be good, and then after that, I think I worry because Disney have now bought into it too. Where Sony were doing it, I was a bit more happy, but now Disney have got their fat fingers on it. Yeah, it's making me worry a lot more. The Devil's Hour, the TV show that I would have expected Stephen Moffat to create but didn't, which I fucking loved. I absolutely
very
loved
good.
that, and especially watching it starts off as all supernatural because you don't know what's going on, and then you get to the end and you find out this guy's just been living and living and living and living again and again in these loops. It was great. I really enjoyed that. It was,
I will give you that. That again, standout series of.
Yeah, Peter Capaldi fucking just owned that whole thing.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And,
no, there's no two ways about it. It was genuinely good.
Then there's Wakanda Forever.
I have still not seen it because I just.
Congratulations.
I don't want to. No interest.
Congratulations.
How have I not got any interest in seeing Marvel movies this year? Marvel, you have destroyed my excitement, my love, my joy from your movies. Well. You are dead.
Yes. Well, Wakanda Forever.
I am like you are with Star Wars. I'm like that with Marvel now.
I'm almost like that with Marvel. I am so close to being like that with Marvel. I just need one more shit thing to come out and tell me that I'm horrible.
The only Marvel thing that I've enjoyed was the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. That I loved. I have to admit, I really did like that. I liked that. I generally liked. I loved Mantis being Quill's sister. That scene, yeah, that got me. That gave me That gave me it gave me the sort of emotional bit. No, it was genuinely, that was good. It's the only thing I have liked. I'm trying to think if there's anything on fucking Disney Plus that I've actually genuinely enjoyed this year. I know there was something, but I've forgotten about it.
Yeah, there probably was. The Peripheral.
That I enjoyed.
I did and I didn't, and it was just, it needed something just to tighten everything up a bit more. It felt like the first season of Altered Carbon.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
I'm just hoping I don't get a fucking second season of Altered Carbon with Peripheral.
Yeah, no, I also understand that. But I enjoyed it. It's not like, I'm not like going, oh, it was amazing, it was brilliant. I enjoyed it. My favorite character was actually the
transgender. She did a really good job. Yeah,
she was amazing. She genuinely, I really enjoyed her when she was on screen because she started off really fucking sinister, and by the end of it, there's still ulterior motives. But I genuinely enjoyed the performance. She was great. She was great. She was one of the best things in it. By a long way, and I genuinely enjoyed her on screen. She was, my mum would have described her as delicious, and she was genuinely good. So no, I really enjoy. I quite liked the Peripheral.
And then there was 1899, which I don't think you finished watching.
I'm finding it tough, but I keep seeing scenes from later on and going, okay, what's going on there? Maybe but then when I watch it, I don't know. Frame of mind, I don't know. I will go back and watch it at some point, but I found it tough to get into at the moment.
Yeah,
I found it tough.
There was some other bits that happened. There was the Korean drama set on the moon with the water. Do you remember that? It ripped off the waters of Mars. You didn't see that?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I haven't watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
There was that. And there were the other bits. Troll was the last, I think, film we watched.
I kind of enjoyed Troll.
I enjoyed Troll too.
I kind of enjoyed Troll. it was a made-for-TV movie, but I kind of enjoyed it. But then I've liked these odd sort of Scandi movies. I mean, there was one a few years ago about Father Christmases being the evil ones, and I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, but I really enjoyed that one as well. And it was very similar to that. It was in that vein, and I enjoyed that. And I think that was a Finnish movie, whereas this was obviously Norwegian. But I like the Norwegian sense of humor, and I've seen a few Norwegian things, and I kind of enjoy them. They are kind of they are bonkers in a gentle way, if that makes sense. They are these programs I watch, they're a bit bonkers, but in a very gentle way, and I kind of like that. I find it endearing, and I liked Troll. I did. Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, it
anyway,
was. There's been a few things that have come out. Like, there was this thing on Netflix that I saw this week called Kaleidoscope, and I enjoyed it until I didn't, because the ending. I didn't like the ending. It was kind of not.
That's what we save that for next week.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because I've got some bits to talk about too. Because
Yeah.
I'd finished off Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
I tried to watch that. Should I watch that? Gareth?
You told me to watch it.
Should I watch it?
Yes.
I think.
Watch it.
I'll go back.
The last one is probably the hardest one to watch, I'll be honest with you. Just because it's the driest of all of them, and it's weird that they put that one at the end.
Okay.
One featuring Andrew Lincoln, so when you get to that one, you can go, oh, maybe I can skip this one. But the others are good. The one with Peter Weller as the eccentric billionaire with tastes and stuff. That one's interesting. A lot of drug taking in that one. Then there's the one with the body lotion. But there was something I noticed in the episodes, is that they had, and I haven't seen this in ages in Hollywood films, sympathetic husbands.
Yeah.
They had actual sympathetic husbands who were telling their wives, "No, you're fine. We'll sort these things out. Everything will be okay."
This is why people, there's all this criticism around Avatar, but people are coming back going, "We liked it because there's a nice dad in it."
The other thing with this is the thing. I asked my family when they see Avatar between Christmas and New Year's. The answer was no. It's too long. Sounds boring. I'm like, okay. James Cameron must have sold his soul to get the fucking viewing people that it is, because I don't know anyone who's watched it and gone, yeah, this is a brilliant film. I went back and watched it again.
I haven't watched it. I think the people who have watched it said there's nice dads in it, which makes it the change, because another thing Hollywood hates is dads. And I think that I find that one of the most egregious things, because all my friends that are dads, I think they're all good dads. And it's not The Order, it's the White episode, and the episode before that, The Order that you watch it in. So it's the episode set after the heist, the furthest one, which is actually in many ways the final. And then there's the episode where you go back and watch what happened in the heist. The trouble is, whatever order you watch them in, you're meant to watch the episode where what happens in the heist last, and it's ruined. So anyway, we'll come back
to that. We'll come back to that next week. Yeah, because I'll have a watch too. But my brother, but Duncan's like kind of. I'm not sure I'll watch Avatar. Who's watching it? I don't know anyone who's watching it, but loads of people are watching it. I'm confused.
I do not understand why they allowed him to do this. He should have brought these movies out 7, 8 years ago. Then there would have been more interest. I'm kind of like, yeah, Avatar was okay. Do I need another Avatar movie, let alone another 4 of them? No. I would sooner have another Top Gun style movie at Christmas, to be honest. I'm so fed up with all this bullshit that I need escapism at the moment, and all they're doing is making depressive shit and other shit that really, I don't need a 3-hour fucking movie about terrible human beings ruining planets again. What I need is Top Gun.
Something hopeful. Yeah.
And
it's frustrating. But, you know, I'll be honest with you. Did you hear that there looked like there was almost a punch up in the US Senate the other day?
Yeah.
All right. So our House of Commons can get freaking rowdy, and it's great to watch because it means they give a shit about something when they get a bit rowdy. But there looked like there were some almost fights breaking out, which is, I like it when politics becomes entertaining. But we will keep that there. We've been going on for longer than normal because this is our year in review. Thank you very much for watching. For those watching, thank you very much for those who are listening. We will catch you in the next episode. And Keith, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Wave it's like it's blankety.